Hello and welcome to another episode of the Plus 63 HP podcast. I'm one of your hosts, John Clemente. Alongside with me are two of my bestest best friend. To screen left is CHUBAX. How are you doing, my man?
What's up? Good, excited. Excited to finish this series.
Yeah, and to
Talk
your
about my
screen right,
crush.
and to screen right is our buddy from the West Coast, is Arnie. How are you doing?
Howdy, fellow ghoulies. So, uh, can't wait to talk about Fallout.
Ghoulies.
I wasn't here when you guys started because I was having some radiation sickness, I guess. So we'll see.
The healthy type of radiation from the beaches of Hawaii. But
Oh yeah.
uh, yeah. If this is your first time here, thank you very much for watching. We are Plus 63 HP. We are a stable of podcasts where we have this show, the review show that drops earlier in the week, Mondays or Tuesdays, where we deep dive into a show or a movie. We give our opinions, we rate it, so you guys can have information whether you should watch it yourselves. We also have a D&D show, usually drops around Wednesday. It's been going on for almost for years now. It's super great. It's our first D&D campaign, a couple of middle-aged guys and a young lady. We record our adventures for posterity and share it in the interweb so you guys can also have fun and join our adventure. We also have a react show where we have a curated list of trailers, video clips, featurettes that we kind of like watch for upcoming content, and we see how hyped we are about that particular content. We give it a plus if we were excited about it. We give it a minus if we're not. And occasionally, Chubax and our other best friend RJ can't get enough
Mm-hmm.
of D&D. They spun off their second campaign where they are bad guys. That usually drops every Friday. So as soon as the backlog of our content gets normalized again, you'll have new pieces of content almost every day of the week. So hopefully you guys like and subscribe at youtube.com/plus63HP. If you want to watch this video on demand, if you just want to listen to us, we're also on podcasts. Just search plus 63HP in your favorite podcasting app. And feel free to interact with us in our socials. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter with the handle at plus 63HP. We always love chatting with our friends and viewers. Housekeeping done. As mentioned, we are very, very excited to do a part two of our Fallout review. So, in the part one, we discussed episodes 1 through 4, and now we're going to discuss the back half of Fallout episodes 5 through 8. Before we go through the synopsis and go beat by beat and give our final thoughts about this amazing series, I'm going to go around the table and ask just non spoilery, instant reactions of the second half of Fallout Amazon series, but also in general, the first season of Fallout. Chubax?
Second half better than the first
Mm.
half. I liked it more, had more fun. Still not a fan of Maximus, but yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, I like it more. And
Arnie?
ended well, so I can't wait for the next.
Yeah. Arnie?
Well, I mean, including the first half, which I wasn't here. It made me want to play the games, man. That's just, and I love that it's a different story because because I went into this rabbit hole, just read up on Fallout. So there's just multiple votes. So at least they basically unlimited characters if they want to keep going, right? So, and of course, loving the ghoul, Walter Coggins. I mean, come on, man, that guy's just justified all over the place,
Killer,
man.
killer.
Yeah, I mean, of course, Ella Purnell is bubbly and cute as ever. I think I like this character over what was her name in Yellow Jackets? Jackie. Who's Jackie in Yellow
Ella Purnell.
Jackets?
Yeah, Ella
Ella
Purnell.
Purnell?
Yeah,
Yeah, but
no,
what's her name in the series?
in Yellow Jackets. What's her name in Yellow Jackets?
Jackie.
Oh,
Jackie. So yeah, but I prefer. Uh, See, I'm forgetting her name in Fallout. Vault Dweller. Yeah, Lucy. I prefer Lucy over Jackie, but I don't know. But my goodness. Yeah, Maximus. Yeah. I don't know. I did see a meme on online like the Lucy and Maximus and basically they're Ray and Finn, but better written or
Ray
something
and
like
Finn.
that. So
That
yeah.
is true,
So
Ray and Finn.
yeah, right. And I think there's the third character. I forgot if it was the Ghoul or and Star Wars counterpart. I don't know. But yeah, just like I'm paraphrasing the meme. Yeah, but yeah, yeah. I love this. I love the series, and can't wait for season two. New Vegas. So we'll see what's going on, right?
Yeah, it is. The second half, I think, flowed a lot better. There was a lot of exposition in the first few episodes. So in the last four episodes, I think they were just more of, instead of exposition, it's a lot of flashbacks, which kind of worked.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is one of those things that because it's such a vast story, there's so many things happening, and I think the showrunners, Nolan, as well as the head of what's his name, uh Bethesda, Todd Howard, they wanted to make sure that you pay respects and homage to the lore of the games, but not also beholden to it, which was good. But the pitfall of that is you have to do a lot of exposition. So at least 5 through 8 is a lot more. Not only did they have a lot more action, they went through a lot more places to really,
Mm-hmm.
like, they covered a lot of spots and venues and different sects of people, uh, that kind of really tease up the series to have, you know what I would hope. Maybe, I think this is one of those series that could go slightly longer than average. Like most series now are, let's say, 3 or 4 seasons. I wouldn't be mad if this goes through 6,
Mm-hmm.
because they have a lot of places that they can go to, and bring in a lot more different people. But yeah, I think, as crappy as Maximus was the first half, he had a little bit better of a footing here. And of course, the second half is where you can really see. We already know that Lucy was a badass.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is where we can say that not only was she a badass, but she still had the Volt core inside her. Like, sure, you're still naive, you still say okie dokie, you still say, like, you still want to do the right thing, whatever, but you're not giving any fucks anymore. So I think I love that the way that they were able to combine those characters, because usually if you're the wide-eyed naive character, you stay that innocent, you're the moral
Till the end.
compass
Till
for
the
the
end.
rest of the series, or you immediately turn and then you rebel against your innocence and niceness. This She was the same. Like at the end of the
Yeah.
series, she was like,
Even
"Fuck you,"
after
but
even
sure,
after the reveal, right? Even after the
yeah,
reveal, she's like,
yeah. It's like
okay, dokie,
even after
but
that, and she did what she had to do. Like
yeah,
somebody got their comeuppance at the end.
yeah.
But she's still like, "Yep, nope, let's trudge along. Let's see what's up there." All right, I'm just gonna quickly run through the last 2 episodes, and anybody can jump in at any point, and then we're gonna discuss our favorite points of the series and give our kind of rating. But episode 5 is the past. This is where Maximus confesses. So we left episode 4 kind of like, Maximus and his new squire bonding and whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
like now, where they've gone through a few things already, now in episode 5, Maximus confesses to Thaddeus, that he is Maximus. He's not what's his name, um
Sir,
Knight,
fuck.
Titus? Was it
he's
Titus,
Titus?
not
Knight.
Knight Titus.
Yeah.
Knight Titus was a coward that deserved the armor and didn't help, etc., etc. But Thaddeus being still part of
Brotherhood.
the cloth, he's still man of the cloth. Um, disables Maximus by stealing a power core. We'll just fast forward real quick. Lucy, again, I'm not a big fan of Deus Ex Machina, but like Lucy finding Maximus in this entire world stuck in his armor and being able to help him was
Mm-hmm.
one of those, like, I'll give it a pass. So Lucy finds Maximus. agrees to release him from the armor because without the
Keep going.
the power core, the armor can't open. So he was stuck there and he could have died there forever. But Lucy finds him. They agreed to work together. A nice little segment of being able to talk about like, hey, every person that Lucy has met in the surface cannot be trusted, etc., etc. So she's learning as they go along, but in the end, they help each other. They get to Shady Sands, which they realize is actually thriving post-war.
Yeah.
They saw
or
did
which what?
did thrive, but not
It
anymore.
did thrive, but
Yeah. Until it was. Yeah.
yeah, until it was like mom. But like you can see that there was an NCR, a New California Republic, where
Yes.
Maximus used to be from before. Again, before it got bombed, and a knight saved him and who wanted to be a knight as well. Um, Maximus gets injured,
Hmm.
and then while they were looking for medical supplies, they kind of like fell into a trap, a Vault Tech building, which turned out to be Vault 4, right? And then, so that's kind of like episode 5. We get a little glimpse of Vault 33, where the new council leader, Betty, which is, if those who don't know, she is Blind Al in Deadpool.
I
She's gonna be
know.
fucking killing it this year. Um, so Blind Al gets elected overseer of Vault 33. One of the things that she wanted to do was repopulate Vault 32, and then she does this by kind of like splitting people a little bit politically. We don't know here on episode 5 yet, but like there's strategically splitting people um, to pacify the curiosity of people of what had happened. So, so she wanted to repopulate Vault 32, which was a little weird to Norm, Lucy's brother, because when Norm and Big Dumb Guy, Big Himbo, visited Vault 32, they saw a lot of things where, hey, this was ransacked way, way long ago. Everybody was dead far longer than these
Raiders.
Raiders did. And they were also just super surprised that once Vault 32 decided to be repopulated, everything was clean and back into place and repainted and whatever. So something happened there that was fishy that Norm kind of took into account. Then we move to episode 6, where Lucy and Maximus and the Vault 4 was greeted by a person named Birdie, like a shady sand survivor, which apparently a lot of people from Vault 4 they thought were like
The best vault in
Brothers.
the world. It's just the best vault in the world.
Yeah, it's super
Yeah.
nice. Um, but I think Lucy and Maximus thought that because they were seeing a lot of mutated people in Vault 4,
Mutants.
oh, these
Yes.
are the survivors from Shady Sands. But the more that they acclimated the place, the more that they realized, like, oh, there's more to it than a vault taking in survivors for the past couple of 100 years. They get surprised that one of the rituals that the people from Vault 4 does, or these are the people that were the Shady Sand survivors, were to worship Moldaver, that she was actually the Flame Mother,
The
which she
Flame
was
Mother.
appalled because like Moldaver, she always thought was a raider that ransacked
Kidnapped is that.
their kidnappers that killed a lot of their people.
Yeah.
Um, and then uh, who's Howard?
Is that the one-eyed guy or no?
You mean Morty's dad?
Yeah. But
Chris Purnell?
either way,
Chris
uh,
Purnell. Chris Purnell.
Chris
Yeah.
Purnell. So
Ella Purnell. Chris
convinced
Purnell. Could be
Uh,
confusing.
convinced that there was something weird in Vault 4, of course, Lucy ventures to the only place that the Vault 4 people said you shouldn't go to, which was Vault 12. And then she uncovers that
Parnell.
this vault is one of the many vaults that had many experiments. So we'll see that more in later episodes, but we're starting to see that, hey, each vault had like a different certain character,
Quirk.
and this one was
Yeah.
more human experiments, or we thought were human experiments, at least in this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and then towards the end of the episode, we do another flashback with Cooper or the ghoul, pre-ghoul, where he was being recruited by his friends to become a spy for his wife, who
Mm-hmm.
works for Vault Tech, and then um, one of the people that invited him to be this covert spy or double agent was actually hosted by a young Moldaver.
Yeah.
So everything is starting to kind of like
Click.
coalesce now. It's like
Yeah.
when I was watching this episode by episode, it's like, wait, how did they, which again, still not answered, but like, how did they last this
Mm-hmm.
long? Are they zombies? Is there
Yeah.
immortality shit? But yeah, this cool, like more and more things are
Like,
happening because
uh,
this is
yeah,
200 years now. So
yeah.
how
And then the
come
thing is,
Moldaver was still looking like a person and Cooper
yeah,
is now looking like a ghoul?
yeah, I was confused. Yeah, that episode, I was like, wait, is it really true that this is 200 years later, or maybe just like a couple, maybe 20 years later? So maybe there's just
Maybe.
maybe just like propaganda, right?
Yeah, there's
But
so
so
many
we don't
things that
know.
is
So we
weird.
don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah, yeah, that's cool.
In episode 7 entitled Radio, this is super funny because, fearing the worst because Lucy like attacked Three Nose Person or attacked the people that are conducting human experiments in Vault 4. Um, Lucy is being prepped for punishment, and then her punishment is weirdly just,
Hmm.
we thought they were
It's
gonna kill him.
death.
They were
It
totally,
is death, but by the
yeah.
wasteland.
So it's more like, oh, so you're basically releasing me to a place where I want to go anyway. But
Uh,
because there was a little bit of confusion, Maximus, which we didn't discuss, who was super
Having the time of his
enjoying his
life.
life at the vault because life at the vault 4 is very, very nice. Also,
Hmm.
eating caviar, watching TV, having snacks. But Maximus didn't want to leave her, so he also kinds of steals or wants to save Lucy. So he steals the power core of the vault, steals his armor, escapes, etc., etc. I'm just gonna discuss this um not in order, but once Lucy and Maximus escapes, where Lucy told him like, no, it's cool, they're gonna release us anyway. Um, on the outside, kind of Lucy again, still having her innocence and naivete there, wanting everybody nice for wanting the good for everybody else. She encourages Maximus to return the power core because, like, yeah, they'll be able to finish their mission, find their dad, etc., etc. But everybody involved for is gonna die without the power core. So,
Hmm.
and when returning the power core, like the attendant even said thank you and shit like that. It was super nice. Um, we skip to Thaddeus, who's wanting to walk towards a radio tower, radio place, so they can call in what had happened. Because he was traveling with the dog, CX404, and he was a little bit noisy. He decides to leave CX404 in a fucking cooler, like a little kind of like soda pop station. So that was inhumane. But
Hmm.
luckily, Lucy and Maximus in their travels heard the dog and was able to save the dog. Again, a lot of Deus Ex Machina here. I mean,
Hmm.
I know it's a video game, and in video games, everything is pretty linear, and so eventually you'll hit where the places where everybody else hit. But in the real world, come on, that's super difficult. But again, we're happy that they were able to um uh they were able to find the dog and able to catch up to fucking Thaddeus
Hmm.
for the head because they needed the head for Moldaver.
Mhm.
We'll
Yeah.
pause there. Um, and back into Vault 33, where
Hmm.
Norm finding out that everything is fucked up with this new council and everybody comes from like if you're when you're in doubt everybody vote for Vault 31. It's one
Yeah.
of their mantra. So he decides to break into Vault 31, and we'll get to that in the next episode, but he was essentially um uh, um found out by somebody in Vault 31 as soon as he got in there.
Yeah.
um so where the ghoul is trying to get to Moldaver as well to reunite because when the ghoul was captured by one of the police or bounty hunters, he saw
Mm.
again in episode 4 he saw a photo of Moldaver
Mhm.
and he realized like, oh, Moldaver is this chick from 200 years ago that kind of recruited me, that scientist lady,
Mm.
etc., etc. So he wanted to find the ghoul. Um, at some point, he also gets reunited with the dog.
Mhm.
So he uh oh wait. Right. Anyway, I'm gonna get getting confused a lot here, but so eventually, um, everybody ends up at the fire people or like the raiders
Mhm.
section in what seems to be the LA observatory is
Yeah,
kind of thing that
The Griffiths
the Griffith
Observatory.
Observatory.
Yeah.
We now realize through the Ghoul slash Cooper's flashback that Moldaver was used to be named Miss Williams. She was kind of like the head of this underground society that is trying to thwart Voltec. And then the reason why Voltec is very, very bad because
Fucking hell.
Moldaver and her team was researching cold fusion, so
Mm.
basically unlimited energy, and they got shelved because what happens is like if you have unlimited energy and everybody has unlimited energy, essentially you can stop wars because you don't have
Yeah.
to fight over resources anymore.
Mhm.
So Voltec wanted to hide or destroy that invention because if there was cold fusion around, Voltec stocks will drop, and then China's dwindling oil resources would be able to survive again, and everybody will live happily ever after. So essentially, we kind of get the hint that Voltec not only forward the war, but had ways to stop it, but didn't.
Yeah.
Um, in the end, also independently, Lucy at the Griffith Observatory and Norm at Vault 31, they learned the truth about the war.
Yeah.
Right. So that's kind of how the episode starts in episode 8, the awesome episode. Um, in a flashback, we see Cooper eavesdropping with her colleagues, like his wife's colleagues, about what they're trying to do with the vaults and vault tech. So essentially, we see this dark circle of different companies, and each one of them
Mhm.
had a hand in making sure, like, hey, we're competitors, but in this particular aspect, we need to work together to make sure that the war continues and
Happens.
starts.
Yeah.
So
What
all
the
the things
fuck?
that people
What a fucked up thing.
but again, it's funny because that's essentially
It's an allegory. Yeah.
yeah, it's essentially what happening in the United States right now. We spend so much in defense contracting, in arms and ammunition. You want to help the war, but before you help the war, there needs to be war. So you kind of like fan the flame. So that's kind of what happened here. It was in no certain words, um, uh, Barb, which was Cooper's wife, said that they were going to make sure that the war happens. So
Mm.
that everybody's investments, everybody working together in making these vaults, they can have their own experiments. And then this is where we see like, oh, some experiments will be for mutations, some experiments will be for
It's
societal,
it's
some
they made
experiments,
them compete basically. What do you think
Mhm.
is the future when you
yeah.
have your own vault?
And also, we kind of see that there are other vaults, like there are vaults that are for nicer, like people that pre-ordered, etc., etc. So
Yeah.
there all of their
Yes.
experiments will still be funded by the rich people. So,
Yeah.
um, and then in Norm's side in Vault 31, we realized that the way that these people, that these council members, maybe Moldaver, but definitely the council heads, the new head, Blind Al, also their dad. Hank,
Mhm.
they're hundreds of years old because of uh, cryostasis.
Yeah,
So
cryogenics. Yeah.
essentially, Hank's idea during Cooper's time, like 200 years ago, was, or oh no, Bud's idea during his time, because like he's like a mid-level manager, mid-level CEO,
Yeah.
mid-level leader. The way that you can keep this continuing for hundreds and hundreds of years is to
Management.
manage it hundreds and hundreds of years, but also have all of your minions do that as well. So that's what happens in Vault 31. So if Vault 32 and 33 were kind of like societal experimentations on being good and having a thriving society, Vault 31 is like, oh, this is where the managers are sent out. So it's more cryostatus, and you have like a little robot, um, uh, a little robot responsible for it. Um, And then we also hear that, oh, this is also the episode where Lucy kind of figures out that the ghoul that is all skin and bones that is in there in the Griffith Observatory with everybody is kind of her mom. And then
Mhm.
she realized that her mom, presumably when she figured out what Hank was, um, escaped with um her
Moldaver, I think.
kids to
Yeah.
Shady Sands.
Yeah.
And then when people from Shady Sands kind of like started figuring out what had happened or what's happening in the vaults and the cryostasis of Vault 31 and what et cetera, et cetera, Hank was actually the one that tracked her down and was responsible for bombing Shady Sands because they didn't, I initially I thought it's like that's a little overreaction to your wife
Hmm.
escaping, but no, I realized like no, everybody who knew about what is happening in the vault or people shouldn't know what's been happening in the vault or what are they doing. So they need to kill everyone. So um we end the
Per-
episode with
perfect casting with Kyle Mac. How do you pronounce his name?
Kyle McLaughlin. Or
Yeah,
Kyle McLaughlin.
like
yeah.
in the first episode, he was such a good dad, and then he
Good
was like
dad.
such an asshole. Like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Real acting, real acting. Yeah, we end the episode with more of like a siege to the Griffith Observatory. Like everybody kind of knows that, all right, um the cold fusion reactor thingy majiggy, which was in the head, was, taken out, brought to them by Lucy. We see Moldaver activate the machine. But the Knights of the Brotherhood, in cahoots with probably the Vault Tech people, started the raid because they wanted to kill the raiders or these rebels. And it's a nice fight here.
Hmm.
Um, and
I love
uh
the ghouls shots here. His action was great. It's like Batman.
yeah, so the reason why Moldaver needed Hank alive and the head is because Hank is the only one that has the or people in management are the only ones that have the code to be able to activate this cold fusion reactor thing that somebody in there kind of like um past has already done. So um we see that, and then Lucy sees everything, understands everything. um so now after the fight everybody dies, etc., etc. It was weird because um who killed Moldaver? Just like a random firefight, right?
She
Random.
just
Yeah.
came. She just
Yeah.
came back in, and she was dying already.
Yeah.
She was
Yeah.
shot.
And then the funny thing is, Lucy and Maximus, they already have connected by this point. They got separated, and then Maximus yet again
That's
lays
why I
claim
don't
to.
like. Well, it's not like he lays claim, but he didn't say anything.
Yeah, so I
So
mean,
it's like passive.
nobody might as well put the
Yeah.
credit to somebody that they can use. So his friend kind of like, hey, Maximus killed Moldaver, etc., etc. So he got stuck. Even if all he wanted to do was help Lucy
Lucy.
escape. And that's what he did. He did. It was like he was kind of like he sacrificed himself to be able to give time for Lucy, seemingly to release his father, but actually no, it's like, oh, when she figured out No, that's a bad guy, whatever. But the ghoul thinking, with his conversation with Moldaver that his family might still be
Still be
alive
alive.
because
Yeah.
Barb is high up in Voltec. He might have some cool stuff that is happening.
Yeah.
So um he wanted to find that, and then he invited Lucy, which is kind of cool. It's like, if you want to figure out the truth about this world and about everything and how to help everyone and save everyone, I'm doing this. Good. Okie dokie. Lucy joins. We have the dog joined them as well.
Dog
They
meat. Yeah.
renamed CX404 to dog meat, which is kind of cool. Um, and then uh that's it. That's how things kind of end with
Yeah.
Moldaver's death being credited to Maximus, him being elevated to a knight.
Yeah.
Um, we also see that Lucy and Rose are going to somewhere. We don't know, but it seems like
New
it's
Vegas.
probably New Vegas. And we also see Hank. So Hank survived all of this, and he was the one that was able to steal an armor. And he was the one that kind of shows that he was going to New Vegas, and that's why the
Yeah.
ghoul and Lucy is following after Hank in New Vegas.
Yeah.
So, that is um
I think that's the mid-credit
Fallout
scene,
Part
right?
2.
That's the mid-credit scene. The
Mm,
Hank going to New Vegas, right? If I
mm.
remember
Yep.
correctly. Yeah.
So all right, Arnie, final thoughts and your rating
I
with
can't.
uh
Uh,
Fallout Part 2,
I
Part 2.
mean, I can't wait for the next season. Hopefully, they've been renewed before they were premiered, so
Mhm.
hopefully now they're writing it and casting new characters and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, maybe Maximus was intended to be unlikable. I don't know. We'll see in season two. Uh, because apparently when did my deep dive, like the Brotherhood is not really a good
No, they're not.
good they're not good guys, so maybe that's why. But yeah, I mean, this is like perfectly cast, written. The music is amazing. Of course, using the 50s, 60s theme or era 300 years from now, that'll be great. But yeah, I mean, it made me want to be a ghoul for some reason. So yeah,
Daddy is the goal now.
yeah. Oh yeah, he's gonna be a ghoul too. So that's another plot point too. So yeah, yeah. I mean, this is how you adapt a video game into a TV series, Halo. So
Oh
yeah,
my God,
Oh,
too
oh
bad.
wait, don't remind me, please.
yeah. I mean, I didn't even watch season 2 of Halo. That's how bad I felt. But yeah, but that's. I mean, if you're going to, if there's a property that you want to adapt, just watch what they did here. I mean, if they want to do Skyrim as a series, let's do it. I mean, if they could do it like this, I mean, it's possible, right? So we'll see. Can't wait for season two. It's 10 out of 10 for me. Yeah.
Ooh,
Oh, high praise.
CHUBAX.
For me, I'll go with a 9 out of 10. I like the world. I'm a big fan of Jonathan Nolan, so his stuff is always jives with me. Just Maximus. I maybe he's on a long term project, so maybe it'll work. Uh, yeah, I'm more excited for season 2 than season 1 because I'm more of like a I hate lonely scenes, so I like it when she's with the party now. So she has dog meat
Mhm.
and she has the goal. I like it more when there's a party interaction. So uh, I can't wait for season 2. I hope it doesn't take too long. But the vibe for Fallout was always great, anyways, for the games like these
Yeah.
70s retro futuristic stuff. It's always cool. The cast was great. Yeah, can't wait for more, and I want to see more of what Norm does too.
Yeah, Norm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Jong.
I'm I'm also a 9. Like, again, it's exactly what you mentioned about. Like, I think season 2, less exposition, more action, good party interaction too,
Yeah.
is nicer. I didn't. I get the wave of, the entire season being told in three different perspectives, like the
Mm,
ghoul, Lucy, and Maximus. And of course, there's always going to be ranking around there, and Maximus is always low. But now that
Mhm.
we've established all of that, and then finally the Ghoul and Lucia is working together. Hopefully,
Yeah.
they get each other's backs. That might be a better dynamic, kind of like a Lord of the Rings dynamic that is better. The production, I'm not a big fan of retro period stuff, but I really enjoyed the production of this. Like it looked polished, it looked
Mm-hmm.
premiere. Like I know
Yeah.
you guys haven't seen Shogun yet. But when we talk about prestige TV, like a Game of Thrones, like Shogun, like Fallout,
Mm-hmm.
there's still like tiers to the quality of the visual.
Mm-hmm.
So Shogun, top tier quality. I'm not saying that it isn't like super cinematic, but it is not as premiere as Game of Thrones. It is
Mm-hmm.
not as premiere looking as um Fallout. So Fallout has this kind of like sheen, like this veneer that makes it look very, very cool and cinematic. So it doesn't look like a TV show. Like it's lived in. Shogun, it's kind of like you feel that it's a TV set in some occasions, right?
Yeah.
But still premiere. So this
Well,
one is like
season. Yeah, they'll have a season two. They'll improve that.
season
Most
two
likely.
and season three. So that's gonna be
Yeah.
good. I just don't know what about, but this one is um the acting was fucking great. Like I cannot
Yeah.
believe that we had
Mm-hmm.
8 episodes of Ella Purnell and 8 episodes of fucking Walter
Walter
Goggins,
Goggins.
right?
Oh,
Like even
such an
Maud
underrated
Daver was
actor.
it's all it's like that's why it's like I'm glad that we have this. And also I think it's just good timing about this vault stuff or people being kept in a box and coming out to the world and seeing how the world really is and how you know even if you want to change the world will definitely change you, which
Yeah.
happened to Lucy. So that's what I love
Yeah.
about this. The talk about war, it's very topical. The talk about the haves and have nots is super
Uh,
topical. So I think when watching this, I kind of realized like, oh, this is us. Like we're okay. We're doing our part in our little bubble. We're doing our
mhm.
best, but we have to be careful because we're living in a world where there's other bubbles, there are other worlds that we need to interact with, and we need to work with them nicely. But also, and the other hand of it is, oh, we're gonna change. Like they are gonna fuck us up. While we're trying to help them, they're gonna try to fuck us up. So it's kind of like super nice, and you couldn't have picked a better lead character than Ella Parnell to kind of like show this dichotomy of life. So and I can't wait for the next season. All right.
Yeah.
Julio, that
Right.
is it
Cool.
for our Fallout review. Check out part one in the playlist of our channel. We have a bunch of movies and TV series that is on the docket. So keep, just subscribe and watch out for that. We have Rebel Moon Part 2. Unfortunately, we're going to review that at some point. We'll have Shogun. We'll have X-Men 97. So go watch those shows and then discuss it with us if you agree
Okay.
or not agree with our thoughts and our ratings.
Yeah.
Final goodbyes, Arnie.
Well, just to add, I mean, Shogun and Acolyte is coming up soon too. Star Wars Acolyte, if you're interested.
Oh, Acolyte. Ooh.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah, Fallout, okie dokie. Yeah.
CHUBAX.
Yeah, Arnie, please watch Rebel Moon so we can do that next week.
Oh,
Come
sure.
on, it's a movie anyways. You can catch it.
It's two movies, right?
Yes.
And I haven't seen two. Okay, fine, I'll watch it. We'll see.
Watch it.
It's
Come
good.
on.
Slow mo. There's
Yeah.
slow mo in it.
You can eat
So,
while it's having slow mo.
okay. All right, let's go.
Okay.
All right, let's do it.
Uh, CHUBAX.
I'm excited. I want to talk about Rebel Moon next week. So
Okay.
All right.
All right.
And that's it for me. Thank you very much for watching and see you in the next one. Bye.
Deuce.